I'm experiencing a bit of culture shock, having returned to Jamaica and feeling completely out of place. And I think I know why. I'm going to try and explain it in a way that is not, or doesn't come across offensive in any way. But I was born in Jamaica, and when at age of 13, migrated to the U.S. and have lived there until kind of coming back maybe about 3 years ago, back and forth to Jamaica. During within the space of that time, I've also had the opportunity to live abroad, in China, in Hawaii, been to Japan, and been in those spaces for longer than just a vacation. So I was able to kind of, just learn to navigate for a little bit. While I was in those situations, and the reason I was in those situations afforded me the luxury of living a certain lifestyle that, for example, when I, going to Cameroon, I was going as a fellow, English language fellow, and so I had my pathway in was through the U.S. Embassy, and so I didn't have to wait on lines, and things were just kind of taken care of for me. Now I'm in Jamaica, and of course in China was the same thing. A company had, they whenever needed anything done, the company took care of it. So I never really had to do certain things like stand on long lines and the things I'm doing now in Jamaica. So now that I'm back in Jamaica, I don't have any of those. I'm choosing not to use some of them anyway. I'm just gonna just be a regular person. I'll stand online like everybody else and go through the process. But in doing that, I'm actually learning some things about the culture, and some of those things I wanted to share with you all, especially those who have not had to live a certain life in Jamaica. I shared before my experience, getting my passport. And I don't remember if I shared it. I ended up having to cry because I was so mad that I couldn't snatch the book and do anything. I just had to keep it inside me. And so the only thing I could do was just cry. It was so frustrating. Most recently, I had to get internet. And working with Flow wasn't a company, but of course the employees represent the company, and that was troubling. It is extremely difficult to get anything done with ease or with any sense of logic. If you're going to do anything, you want to stand online, you can stand online forever. If you want to say, all right, you know what, let me try to assert myself and inject myself here, maybe slide a couple dollars here to get things done, I'm going, that is the kind of culture that I'm in now, and so I'm having to make some adjustments to this. I don't take much of this personally because I'm able to sit back and observe, and have been able to sit back and be an observer. I know why my people behave the way that they're behaving. And when I say my people, it's culture shock because I thought they were my people, and then I see that the behaviors they have are not my people. I don't behave like this. And what is all this about? But I want you to imagine for a moment a people who years ago, hundreds of years ago, their ancestors were stripped from their land, their culture, their religion, their language, and brought to an island where they were treated like shit. And the women were, they weren't considered human because they were treated like animals. They were just bred. Women were expected to breed more slaves for the colonialists. And I want you to, so the men, obviously, they were just breeders. And the women were to be bred. And then they have children who were sold off into slavery and all those other things. Right? Just that alone. Don't think about the other psychological traumas that these people endure. But fast forward hundreds of years later, what would that culture look like with people who generation after generation after generation like start to exhibit this behavior and accept it as normal now, right? No healing, no trauma. Okay, here's the idea of independence, and so, but even with that, those who were governing over the people didn't do it with any love and compassion, right? So that's where we are now. And we have the descendants of these people whose culture and behaviors now look like their colonial masters. Everything they do, even their attempts now to be a family. I don't even know if that word in Jamaica, because I don't know what that looks like. The idea of getting into a relationship with a man in Jamaica must be terrifying for women. I'm sure they don't do any statistics, but I think it's within my own sphere of just recently starting to engage a little bit more with people. On one hand, I can say I've known 5 people. 3 of those 5 people's mothers were beaten to death. One was beaten with rebar. Why beat somebody with rebar? I'm like, this is what women are enduring in this culture, like I said. And then, so then, if you don't want to be with any man, then, and the men want to be with a woman, what are you going to start doing? So I look at the statistics of rapes and murder of children, child abuse, and this is of girls. This is of the girls. We haven't explored the sexual abuse of boys in Jamaica. Child abuse is just off the charts, right? So there is need for healing like crazy here. And you can't get any healing if people have to be constantly just in survival mode all the time. They're in survival mode all the time. Gotta find food, gotta find a house, gotta find this, not just for me, for the kids. So now somebody gets in, a girl gets impregnated by a man, now the child have to take care of herself and the baby. How the hell are you gonna do that? Right? And there's no seem to be any consequence for men doing that, so it just perpetuates itself. So what does a culture look like now when women are abused like this? The girls are abused and having babies, and no men to take care of and all that. Yeah. So I'm trying to assimilate into a culture that is completely foreign to me because people are behaving in a way that those who have never left the island and have been in this dysfunction for all these years, that's who we're living among now. And when I come and I'm like, okay, let's see what the political arena is offering, so I can see what I can do to intervene or get myself involved. And I look at the options and I'm going, what the hell? Really? One of the colonialists and somebody that looked like a colonialist, so, you know, maybe 2 generations ago. No love. Yeah, I don't have no love for the people. And I've driven to the country and I look at how some people live in the zinc homes and when people live like, are you kidding me? No wonder these guys can't get 30% of the votes. They're splitting 30% of the votes. So 70% of the people aren't even participating in politics. I'm going, what? And then those who are, I'll check your literacy. Because this guy that helped me with the flow thing, I don't think he was too literate. All right? Because the things that were going on, are you really? Okay. I just sit and shake my head and then I get these. But this is some serious stuff, folks. I have, after years of not being able to go out and have a great time with my girlfriends and party the way we want to because the music, the vibe's not right. Can't go out and find a party that a DJ can play some decent music and you can have a good time. But playing things like these ego-driven situations. So, whenever I can't find a party that I can have a great time with, I create my own. And when I'm here, as I'm here exploring, okay, how politically can we kind of get ourselves back in shape as a country? We can't start until we actually show some love to people, right? And when you have officials making statements about putting our young people in debt by having them mortgages and home loans and this and loans and loans is just bondage. Our people need a break. They need a party. They need to have a great party, a real party, not a political party, a beach party. A party that they can full joy themselves and not have these marks. I can have the women in Jamaica, they look like they're all angry and shit. And I know why. I'm starting to look angry. How could you not? When you're looking around and seeing what's happening. And when I suggest to people, I say, hey, you know what? Let's just start our own party. We don't have to be a part of their party. Because the party don't look like it's fun. They go, well, you know, people don't like their party. They don't like this. And I'm going, so the alternative is to just fight with them and get farm marks. You gotta be careful. So I'm going to do what I can do. I'm going to do what is within my sphere of influence so I can sleep good at night, right? Because I can't live among the pain, the depravity, and make myself comfortable in it. It can't work. So either I leave, and fortunately for some of us we can, but not everybody can. So what about those who cannot? We're not going to do anything about it. We're just going to kind of just sit and just hope these parties that were put here is going to love our people. Sovereign people need their own sovereign rule and governance. Rule and governance that will reflect their values, their morals, their wants and desires, and benefits them and their generations to come. I don't see any of that happening right now. So I'm going to do my part, right? When I came here, I realized that the issue that we're seeing globally, where the rights of indigenous people are just being stomped upon, and, you know, people just coming and just set up shop in the middle of what you already have going. And just like, how the hell you just come and plant yourself here? That's what's happening in Palestine. People go over there and just say, we're going to take this land here, so they're just like. So I came into that, you know. They just prop themselves up. We're going to just take your beach and we're going to use it for this, and you guys can use it. I'm going, what? You're just going to come and take it. You don't wait. And then when I go out to the beach, it looks like shit. There's trash all over the place. So I'm like, no wonder people come in and go, oh, y'all aren't using this beach, so we can just come and take it. You don't look like you're using it. It's dirty. So what I say is, I'm like, all right, you know what? I use it, not on the back. I'm using it, and I'm cleaning it. Every time I go there, I have a garbage bag there, I start putting trash in it. Indeed. Because I have to take a personal responsibility in that. And then I invite others. I said, hey, guess what? The beach is a mess. All this shit's been washing up on shore, and we need to clean it all up. Because, you know, when it looks like this, people come and they come into our country and they go, oh, these people don't use it. So, and in truth and fact, we don't use the beaches. We as a sovereign people have been cut off from engaging with nature the way we are accustomed to. Ask how many Jamaicans went out when the last time went to the beach. How many can swim? How many knows what's underneath the beach? How many people go in the forest? How many knows what's in the trees and the leaves and the value that's in that environment? And how we need to coexist with it. Nobody don't know that. Because nobody goes and nobody has time. Why? Because they're working all the time. Just to keep a roof over their head and food in their mouth. And even that, they can barely do. Do you know 15,000 Jamaican dollars is the minimum wage per week, people? Per week. Not per day. Per week. People are expected to live off $400 a month. When I grocery shop one time, it's almost like, just for me, it's close to $200. So when I pick up a couple things from now on. So how do you feed the family with that? Who put a policy in place that said that that was okay for people to live? So how are you going to heal under those circumstances? We indigenous people have our own sovereignty, we have our own rights, we have our own ways about us that we need to reclaim. We are people of the land and sea, and we need access to them. And so, if I'm to sleep at night, I have to do something that's going to at least create a pathway for the next generation to do that. So in addition to every Sunday I go out there and I swim, I clean the beach, I'm also going to dedicate one Friday a month during the summer to host a snorkeling summer camp for girls, so we can stick our face in the head in the water and see what's underneath them, and explore inside the ocean. And then eventually we go scuba diving and we actually go down into the ocean and see what's around there. We go into the rivers, and we go into the hills and the valleys of Jamaica, and we explore nature, because that's where we indigenous people came from. And if we're supposed to defend our sovereignty, we have to do it as a unified voice. So I'm inviting you all to my party, my beach party. There's several projects that I'd like to the members of the party to explore in terms of working within the party to solidify economic stability for indigenous people. There's a way to do that. We need economic stability so we can actually have the time to breathe and look at ourselves and look within ourselves so we can start to heal. Healing can't take place when people in this rat race. It's not going to happen. So we need some economic stability established, and that is not very difficult to do when you follow a simple formula, a circular economy type of thing. We spend a lot of money as black people, and most of it we spend with ourselves. This, for example, when you see these colors, right? What comes to mind? Rastafari, right? Ask how much of this, within the supply chain of this creation, how much of it went back to Rastafari or the Ethiopian Coptic Church? How much of it went back, right? That's just one example of where, if we recapture our monies that are being spent, we can rebound and start to heal ourselves. I've started a party. I have established a platform. I'd like to invite those who are project-minded and interested in working on a couple of things that would stabilize our people and strengthen our people economically and intellectually It's not difficult to do if you run an organization or any business. If you've been in 4-H club, you know. We're just setting up an organization that will represent us to the public and defend the rights of indigenous people, defend the sovereignty of indigenous people. There needs to be one unified voice, one unified entity through which to work. Otherwise, we're just all speaking into the wind. We need to speak with one voice, and the only way that will happen is if we have an entity through which to speak that can protect us, protect our sovereignty, protect our rights, protect our children, protect our women. That's what we need. That's what the beach party is about. It's about partying, it's about protecting the sovereignty of indigenous people. Welcome aboard, John. And let's get to work. There are a lot of projects to work on. There is an app that I have that I will be attaching to this. And if you're interested in, or you're not interested in the current parties that are there, then jump aboard.